Hi, my name is Tonya. I'm working as a customer success specialist at Castor, helping our users to use the platform in the most efficient way. And today we are going to create our first survey in Castor. So this recorded webinar consists of four main parts. First, I'm going to give you a brief introduction to Castor surveys. I'm going to show you how they look like. Then we're going to create the survey from scratch, and I'm going to show you some tips how to format a survey. Then we are going to test how it looks like, which is a quite important step in preparing a survey. And finally, I'm going to explain how to send out and schedule surveys. Castor surveys are electronic patient-reported outcome, and they are always linked to a record, to a patient, which is called a record in Castor. It is possible to format a survey to a certain extent, and as I already mentioned, it is quite important to test your survey before sending it to participants. It is possible to schedule a survey, and I'm going to show you how to do it a bit later. So Castor surveys are basically questionnaires that contain a list of questions and that can be sent by email. So how does a survey actually look like? So here you can see my survey called Mental Health Screening. So this is the title of a survey package. I'm going to explain in a bit more detail what a survey package is a bit later. So the survey consists of steps, which you can see in the left panel. Each step is a separate page of a questionnaire, of a survey. Further, the survey consists of introduction to a survey package and introduction to a survey. So here, the first screen that you can see this text here is an introduction to the whole survey package. And a good thing, you can also add a logo of your study. So I have a Castor logo here, but you can add any logo you want. Under the steps, we have a progress bar, which calculates the progress of a survey, and only the required questions are taken into account when calculating the progress of a survey. In the right upper corner, you have a small icon, so you can choose the language of the survey interface. Once you set it to the Netherlands, it's loading. Buttons and steps will change to Dutch. The rest, if your questionnaire is in English, the rest will stay in English, of course. And it is good to know that the default survey language will be adjusted based on the browser of participants. So if the participant's browser is set to Dutch, then of course the navigation, such as steps or introduction or the buttons, will be in Dutch. And for the rest of the browsers, the language of the interface will be in English. To navigate between the pages of a survey, there are two options. The first option is just to click on the steps navigator to the step where you want to go next. Or you can use the next button in the bottom right to continue. Here is this button. And for this survey, I can see that it is not possible to navigate in using the steps navigator on the left panel. And we can only use the next button at the bottom of the right. And this is a special setting in a survey, which I'll show you later. So let's click the next button. So now we have an introduction to a survey. So we have here another introduction, which is an introduction to the whole survey package. And here we have an introduction to our mental health screening survey. So you can add some text and some information about your survey or about your study. You can add some links. So whatever you want, you can add it to this introduction. Let's click the next button. So here you can see the list of questions, And this is how a survey will look like to a participant. You can see the orange circle, which means that this question is required and that it hasn't been filled in. Once the participant fills in the question and answers the question, the field will be, this status button will turn green and the progress will be updated. And because we have a special setting that will not allow participants to continue to the next page before they filled in all the question, we cannot click this next button. So I'm going to explain you later how to set it up, but if you would like your participants not to be able to skip some questions or steps, I recommend to use this setting. So let's go ahead and answer just randomly these questions. And you can see now our progress updated to 100%, which means the survey is completed, and now we can go to the next button. And before we go actually to the next page, I want to show you this cogwheel. It allows you to clear the value. It allows to delete your answer and reselect another one, which is quite good to know. So now I'm clicking to the next button, and we reach the end of a survey, and I have an outro text here for a survey. It's this one, and if I click next, this is the outro text for the whole survey package. Let's finish this survey. After finishing the survey, the participant will get another notification that now their answers will be submitted and they will not be able to update their answers anymore. So let's click yes. And now you can also choose to forward the participant to another website after they finish the survey. So we click OK and we are forwarded to Castor EDC website. And you can choose to forward your participant to your research institute website or to the project's website, whatever you wish. So now we have completed our first survey. And let me quickly show you another survey. In our previous survey, we only had one questionnaire, but you can also add several questionnaires to each survey. So in this, I have, for example, two questionnaires. One is a short health survey, and the second one is mental health screening. And as you can see, I have deleted the introduction for survey packages. So now we have only introduction to a survey and outro also for a survey. And here again, introduction to a survey and outro text for a survey. Since I have disabled a setting to require participants fill in all the questions, I can freely navigate between different steps in a survey. So this is how it works, like if you disable the force step completion setting. And as you can see here, I formatted the introductory text a bit more. I added a list. I added big head, big title, and you can format the introductory and outro text as you wish. And further, this is the second survey. So you can add several surveys in one survey package. And it works the same. If I fill in the question, the progress will be calculated. This is how the navigation works between different steps. And this step uses a remark field, which is not taken into account when calculating a progress field, but it's something that we get asked a lot. And I recommend using remark fields if you would like to add some additional information about your survey or about this particular page in the survey. All right, I'm going to close this survey and let's actually start creating our own survey. Okay, we just took a look how a survey look like, and this is a brief summary. That you have a title of a survey package, Steps are pages of a survey, and you can access different steps, different pages of a survey using Steps Navigator in the left panel. You can navigate by clicking the next and previous button as well. Remember about the language that you can change interface language using either a button or the language interface. The language will be set based on the browser of the participant. You can click on the cogwheel to clear the value. And finally, you can, when clicking Finish Survey, it will allow you to redirect participants to another website. All right, so actually let's start creating our own survey. To create a survey, you need to navigate to the tab Structure and then subtab Surveys. And yeah, surveys are a separate structure in Castor along with a study structure and report structure. And to add a survey, you just click on the button Add. I have a sleep quality survey. You can add a description if you want. Sometimes it might be useful to know to add how many items there are in a survey. You can add some introductory text and we can format it as we wish. And you have a short help text here. You have a short help. If you forget how to format it, you can always click on this help button and it will give you some tips on how to format text. For example, if I want to make a list, I need to use this formatting. And if I want to use a link, I can use this formatting. I'll just copy it. And I copy the formatting. Yeah, so this is the text for the link. And this is the website to which you need to redirect your participant. Always use the HTTP. It's quite necessary. And then in the outer text, we're going to thank our participants. Some typo. So we have created our survey. We added a name, description, which is optional. Introductory and outer text are also optional. If you don't fill anything, they will just not be displayed. And we save. Further, after adding a survey, we need to add steps. And since my survey consists of just one step, I'll add the same title as my survey. Again, survey step description is optional, but you can add some information, number of questions in each step, or anything else. All right, so now I have created my survey and a step of a survey. Yeah, let's actually add some questions. And to add a question or a field, we need to navigate to the form editor. And there are two options to do it. Either you click on this form tab and then find a survey there. Then you go to surveys and you select a survey which you would like to edit, sleep quality. Or a bit faster way is when you are in a survey, when you created all the steps, you can click on this cogwheel and select an option open in form editor, and it will take you directly to the right survey and the right step. So let's add some questions. I'm going to start adding the radio buttons. So you select the field type radio button, and I've already prepared questions in advance, so I will just copy them here. And you can also do it yourself. Just copy the questions and variable names from the data dictionary, for example. It goes a bit faster in that way. And I'm going to select an option group, which I also already prepared in advance. So I will click on the edit option group just to show you how it looks like. So these are my option name. This is what the participant will see, and this is the option value. And this is what is going to be saved in the database. And I'm going to save and add another one. Again, a radio button field. And also I have already prepared everything, so I'll just copy paste it here. Option group is already selected because I have saved and add another field. And finally, the last question. I'm going to add only 3 questions just for demonstration purposes, so extra space here. And now I'm going to show you a little trick. I on purpose leave the variable name empty. If you would like to, if you have already added some questions, but you remember that you want to change a variable name, you don't need to open the whole field to edit it by clicking on this pencil. So if you click, you can edit the field, but you can also just click on the variable name or the label, the question, and you can modify it as you wish. So you don't really need to open each field. So now I have added questions to my survey, and basically it's ready now. Let me quickly recap the steps before. So as I mentioned, surveys are a separate structure in Castor along with the study and with the reports. And surveys are sent through survey packages, which are containers of the survey. And this is our next step. And to create a survey, you need to navigate to the Structure tab, open subtab Surveys, and there you use Add button to add a survey, and in the Steps panel, you again click on the Add button to add steps, and you add fields, your questions in the form editor. How to format your survey? As I mentioned, it is possible to format a survey to a certain extent, and which we already did. By the way, if you would like to edit your survey, if you'd like to edit your survey, you need to click on the cogwheel and choose the option Edit Your Survey. So you can also come back and format steps and format your survey introductory and outro text. And as I mentioned before, we have this help text here. Let me maybe make this text bold by adding the asterisks. To create a list, you can use the plus and okay, let me think. And yeah, you can create a list just of two items, but you can add as much as you want. So yeah, use asterisks or underline text to format your text. Use hashtag to create bigger or larger text. And for lists, use plus or minus or asterisks. You can add a link, and you can also add a logo in the settings step. So you can add a logo here, and then you can save changes. And this is the study logo. It will it will be displayed in a study and in a survey. I will show you a bit later, but you also saw it in my demo survey before. And sometimes we get asked to add images. Again, you can click to add, click on this help text, and to add an image, you just need to use this syntax, and you need to use a link to an image. So you cannot really add the images from your desktop, just use a link to an image. I'm not going to do this now because it's quite clear, and I'm going to save it. All right, so these are some tips and tricks how to format your survey. And let's create a survey package. So after you have created a survey and you have added some questions and fields, we need to create a survey package to be able to send it. So survey package is a container that allows you to send a survey because it generates a unique link which participant can click and fill in the answers. Again, it follows the same logic. You just click on the button add, and now you have to fill in package details. So name is the title of your survey package. Invitation sender is the person who will be shown to the recipient as a sender. You can select by default no reply at castoredc.com, but you can also select someone from your study to appear as an invitation sender. And it is important to know that when you select an invitation sender different from no reply, so any user from your study, the participant will by default receive an email from no reply at castoredc.com. However, once they reply to this email, the email will be support at castoredc.com. Then you can add invitation subject. By default, the invitation email gets pre-populated by some short text, and we recommend to extend to add more information in order to avoid the survey ending in a spam filter, in a spam folder. And this URL tag, after the survey will be sent, it will become a unique link where participant clicks and opens the survey. Again, you can add a link, or you can now the most important part are actually these settings below. First setting is log survey finished. Let's select this. It allows you to log the survey to avoid any changes by participants. So basically, when they click on the link finish survey, the survey automatically logs and they are not able to go back anymore to modify their answers. Auto send helps you to automatically send surveys. Then allow step navigation is what I showed you will turn on the step navigator in the left panel. Allow step navigation will allow the participants to navigate between the steps. We're going to disable it now. Show step navigator will display the steps navigator in the left panel as I demonstrated you, so they can see the list of all the pages or steps in the survey. And for step completion will allow participants to continue to the next page of a survey only after they completed all the questions in this given page. And finished URL, you can add a URL to where the participants should be redirected after they click finish survey, as I demonstrated you before. Finally, intro text to a survey package. I'm going to leave it out because I already have an intro text to a survey, and also outro text. You can add some information which is relevant to the participants. And finally, survey selection is a very important step, and you will not be able to save a survey package without selecting a survey. And I'm going to use the sleep quality survey, which I have just created, and I'm going to add it to the survey package. And I'm clicking on save to save the survey package. So here in the survey packages, I can see the list of all created survey packages, and I can click on sleep quality. This is the survey package that I've just created. And yeah, again, you can click on the cogwheel to edit the survey package or to delete it, or print it as well if you want. And be careful not to delete it after the study goes live. That's quite important. All right, let's recap. So how to create a survey package. So you navigate to the Structure tab and open Subtab Survey Packages. And in the Survey Packages panel, click on the Add button to add a survey package. You can edit the survey package details in the pop-up window, and don't forget to add a survey, otherwise you will not be able to save your survey package. And after you have added your survey, just click to save your new survey package. All right, let's actually start sending our individual survey invitations. As I mentioned, survey package helps you to send a surveys in Castor. And one important thing to know is that to be able, so each survey is linked to a patient. A patient is called a record in Castor, and to send a survey, we need to first create a new record. I select an institute. I have created a record, so a patient, and I can navigate to the tab Surveys. So normally you would fill in some maybe details about the participant in the study. And to send a survey, we navigate to the Surveys tab. Here you can see Create Survey Invitation. I click on it. So I select the survey package. I will want to send the sleep quality survey that I've just created. And as you can see, the invitation text is automatically, the invitation text as well as the log survey finished are automatically selected as I set them in the survey package. So now we need to add an email address to the user of the participant, and it's important to know that the ones who send the survey need to have appropriate rights. I'm going to mention it later. I'm going to send it to myself. You can link a survey to a phase or report, or you can leave it blank. I'm going to link it to the inclusion. So invitation text will get automatically pre-populated from the survey package text, from the survey package invitation email. And you can also choose when you want to send. You can choose to send now, you can choose to decide later, or on a specific date or schedule. I'm going to send it now. And you can see here all the details about my survey. You can see the status is sent, and in some cases, if the email is wrong, the status can be failed, so pay attention to this. You can track the progress, and you can also see when the date when the survey was created. This column date planned will display if a survey is scheduled for a later date, and then the actual date sent and date completed. And here we have also a menu where you can have different options. You can edit invitation properties. I'm going to get back to it later. So basically, this is how you can send the survey. And as I just showed you, you create an invitation by clicking on Create Survey Invitation button. And once I've created it, you can see that all my settings are empty. And the email address is empty again. However, it can be quite unpractical if you need to send several surveys to a participant and fill in an email address every time. And in some cases, it's quite beneficial if you would like to If you conduct research, for example, on fertility, where each record represents a couple, so two people, to which you have who have different email addresses, and you want to send two surveys to different email address. In this case, this is what you need. You just create a survey invitation in a record, and you add a different email address. Let me demonstrate. Right. So in the previous survey invitation, I sent it to myself, but now I'm sending it to a different email address. This is quite beneficial also for research involving for pediatric research, where you would like to send an email to both parents to two different email addresses. However, in some cases, it's not very practical. And if you don't want to add an email address every time you create a survey invitation, then you need to use this option. Once you created a record, you can link an email address with this record by clicking on the cogwheel and choosing an option Update Email Address. So yeah, you will need a password to enter and to link an email address to a record. Oh. Let me try this again. And see, I entered the password, and now I can add an email address. I'll add my own email address. And now this record number 14003 is linked to my email address. And let's try sending a survey there. And every time I create a survey invitation, it already uses my email address, and I can, for example, send a sleep quality study. I will choose to decide later, just to demonstrate you how it works. And then I create another survey invitation, for example, with a short health survey and mental health screening. Again, the survey invitation pulls the email address from the record, and you don't need to re-edit every time. And I decide later. So this is how it works. This is how sending individual survey invitation works in Castor. Let me quickly recap. So to send an individual survey invitation, you navigate to the Records tab and open a record, so a patient. And in the tab Surveys, you click on the Create Survey Invitation button. Then you edit the survey invitation details accordingly and set the date when you want to send the survey. And make sure you have the rights to add an email address. Then you click on Save Survey Invitation and you check the status to be sure that the survey package is sent or it is planned. And alternatively, you can import an email address to the record, so link it and create a survey invitation, as I mentioned before. And let me quickly show you how you can check the rights, that you have appropriate rights. So you have users, and here you can see different rights. And we have here send surveys invitation, send surveys right, and also view surveys right. So you can also just allow your users to either view surveys and send surveys. And there is a separate right email, which will allow a user to add or change an email address for each record or a survey invitation. So be aware of that and make sure your users have appropriate rights. And now let's actually test our survey and see how it looks like. And there are two options to test the survey. Let me go back to the record. Number 2, survey. So there are two options. And one of the very easy option is when you create a test record, and you select a survey package, you can actually just send a survey to yourself, as I did before. You just enter your email address and you choose the sending date now. You save a survey invitation and then the survey will be sent to your own email address. And that in that way you can also check how the email that the participant will get looks like, and whether you're happy with it. You can click on the link and you will see how a survey looks like. And there is another option. Actually, it's a bit faster, but I still recommend you to maybe send one survey to yourself, just to make sure that the email that will be sent to a participant displayed correctly. So once you have created, let me create another survey invitation. So once you create a survey invitation, and yeah, let me choose mental health screening survey, and you enter any email address. You can again also enter your email address. Doesn't matter. You can choose decide later, and you can save a survey invitation. Sorry. You can save a survey invitation, and then you can click. Now you can see that the survey is created, but it is not sent. And then you can click on the cogwheel and choose to open survey in new window. Or yeah, when you click on open survey in the new window, you can see the survey will be opened. And here is this unique email address, unique not email address, unique URL, which leads to your survey. And then you can check how it looks like, whether all the settings are appropriate. And you can fill it in, play around with it, make sure that all the questions are displayed properly, test it thoroughly before you send to the participant. You can finish the survey. I'm gonna close it. It's redirecting to Castor EDC, and once you have filled it in, you can check that, okay, the status is locked, the progress is 100%, and in this case, you can play around and make sure that the survey is displayed correctly, that the survey email is displayed correctly for the participants. So we strongly recommend it to test your survey thoroughly before sending it to the participants and before going live. By the way, let me show you how to cancel a survey invitation. In case you created a survey, I'm going to quickly create it. For example, you scheduled a survey on a certain date, let's say next week. And you can see here a survey is created and it's planned. And then you notice, okay, the date is wrong. I actually want to send it on another date. You can just archive a survey. And this will basically delete the survey invitation. Well, it archives it, and the survey invitation will no longer be sent. Okay, let me quickly recap the steps on how to test the survey. So the easiest option is just to send an invitation to own email address and to try opening the survey link that you will get, and make sure you do it to be sure that the email is displayed correctly to the participant. Or alternative is to open a record and choose the tab surveys, then click on the cogwheel next to a survey, and you can choose between different options to view survey, open survey in pop-up, or open a new window. This is basically the same options, just as you prefer. Just choose according to your preferences, whether you want to see it in a pop-up or a new window, or just view it without being able to fill it in. And again, make sure to check user rights and assign the appropriate rights to the users in your study who will be sending surveys and modifying email addresses. And finally, quite important feature that we have is you are able to schedule a survey. Let's try doing it now. And to do this, first of all, you can configure a schedule, and you do it in the tab Structure and Survey Packages. Right at the bottom, there is an option Configure Schedules. I've already created two patterns, two sending patterns. So one is weekly and the second one bi-weekly. And let's create another one monthly. So for the four months in a row, I will be sending this using this pattern. And I add, and now my pattern appears here. You can also edit it or delete it. And it's done. And now we are creating a survey invitation again in a record. Let's use this one. Go to the tab, open the record, go to the tab Surveys, and create a survey invitation. And let me send my sleep quality every month, starting from the 1st of January, for example. And I included a planned send date, and I also choose that the future invitations should be sent according the following pattern. And I can just select monthly or weekly or bi-weekly. And this, so you always have to add a 0 when you're choosing a schedule, because then it will create a survey on the 1st of January, and then 30, 60, and 90 days after it. And I'm going to save a survey invitation. And here you can see all the planned dates for all the survey packages that I've created now. So this sleep quality survey will be sent 4 times on the 1st of January, then at the end of January, and then in March and in April. So yeah, this is how it works. So you can control all the planned dates. And this is how the scheduling works. Also, you can actually create a schedule when you create a survey invitation. Again, let me create another survey invitation. And again, I'm going to send it in January. And to configure a schedule invitation, you can click on this button Schedules. And again, you can add a sending pattern. To send it daily. And we can edit and choose it here. And this will create 7 instances of my mental health screening. And you can see them here. And actually you can also filter your surveys here. Which is quite convenient, and you can also track progress. We don't have any sent surveys we have created. So yeah, if you have a lot of surveys, don't forget to use these filters, which can be quite handy. Again, so to schedule a survey, if you first need to configure schedules, you can do it either in the Structure tab or once you create a survey invitation. And you can, yeah, you need to add a 0 and then the intervals of the period where a survey should be sent. And if you use this pattern, it will create 4 new survey instances, and you can quickly check it. You can choose the option Schedule Invitations and then click on Schedules. And yeah, you can click, use Add button to add a sending pattern. So this is a short recap of all the steps. Let me check how are we on time. Yeah. So these were the main features and the main tips and tricks on how to send your first survey in Castor, how to create and send your first survey in Castor, how to create a survey package. Thank you for watching this recorded webinar, and good luck with your study.